I've been using this for a while now, so I figured I would share some thoughts. This is an adjustable base that lets you raise your head, raise your feet, and save a couple of positions so you can get comfortable without stacking pillows or doing that awkward shuffle to find the right angle. If you spend time in bed reading, watching shows, dealing with reflux, swelling in your legs, back tightness, or you just like changing positions during the night, this type of frame makes day-to-day life easier. It is also meant for people who still want under-bed storage, because it works with storage beds instead of forcing you to give up that space. What made me interested in this specific frame was how it tries to combine the basics that matter, like smooth adjustments and a remote that is simple, with a few extras that can actually be useful, like massage, a snore reduction setting, and charging ports. A lot of adjustable frames have a couple of those things, but the storage bed compatibility is what pushed me to try this one in my own setup. Physically, it feels solid once it is together. The frame has that no-nonsense functional look. It is not trying to be decorative. It sits under the mattress and you mostly forget about it until you use it. When you grab and move parts during setup, nothing feels flimsy. After living with it, I do not get creaks or shifting when I change positions, and that matters more than how it looks on day one. Setup was straightforward, and that is not something I say lightly because I have built enough furniture to know how bad instructions can get. The packaging was big and heavy, but everything inside was organized in a way that made sense. I did not need to go hunting for tools. I spent more time clearing space and getting the mattress out of the way than I did actually building the base. The instructions were clear enough that I did not feel like I was guessing, and the parts fit the way they should. If you are putting this into a storage bed setup, that is where you want to slow down and pay attention. The main thing is making sure you have the clearance you need, and that nothing is going to pinch or rub when the head or foot sections move. Once I had it aligned, it behaved like it was supposed to. I still checked it a few times during the first week because storage beds can be tight, but after that it was set and forget. In daily use, I end up using a few positions over and over. I use a slight head incline when I am reading or watching something. It keeps my neck more neutral than propping up pillows, and it helps me stay comfortable longer. I also use a slight foot lift at the end of the day, especially when my legs feel heavy. The movement is smooth enough that it does not feel jerky, and it does not startle me awake if I adjust it while I am half asleep. The remote is the center of the experience, and overall it is easy to live with. The buttons are laid out in a way that makes sense, and I learned it quickly without constantly looking down. There is one issue I ran into that is worth mentioning because it happened more than once. The range can be inconsistent. Sometimes I can use it from where I normally sit, and sometimes I have to be closer for the button press to register. It is not a deal breaker, but it is a real annoyance when you are trying to make a small adjustment and nothing happens until you move your hand closer. The massage feature is something I was skeptical about, and I still think it is more of a comfort add-on than a replacement for anything medical. For me, it is useful in a very specific way. On days when my lower back feels tight, I will turn it on for a short session while I am winding down. It is not silent, and it is not the kind of massage that digs in like a person would. It feels more like vibration that helps me relax, especially in my legs. I do not use it every night, but I do use it often enough that I would miss it if it disappeared. The snore reduction setting is interesting. I cannot tell you it fixes snoring across the board because snoring is complicated, but I can say this. When I use that setting, it raises the head a bit in a way that can make breathing feel easier. On nights where I feel a little congested, I notice that I wake up less with that dry mouth, heavy throat feeling. It is subtle, and it depends on the night, but it is not just a fake button. It does something, and for some people that may be enough to matter. The zero gravity position is the one I use when my back feels compressed after sitting too long during the day. It puts you in that reclined posture where your knees are supported and your weight feels more evenly spread out. I would not sleep like that all night, but for 15 or 20 minutes before bed, it helps me settle down and take pressure off my lower back. It is also the position I use if I am going to be on my phone for a bit, because it keeps me from curling forward and straining my neck. The charging ports are a small thing, but they end up being practical. I charge my phone there instead of running a cable to the wall. The only real caution is cable management. If you have long charging cables, you want to route them so they are not hanging in a way that gets tugged when the bed moves. Once I adjusted that, it was fine. Noise is another real-life concern. When you change positions, you can hear the motor, but it is a steady sound and it does not grind or squeal. The massage adds more audible vibration, especially if your room is quiet, but it is not so loud that it bothers me. If someone in the same room is a very light sleeper, that is the only situation where I would think twice about using the massage while they are already asleep. Over time, the biggest benefit has been consistency. I can set the bed the way I want every night without fiddling with pillows. I wake up less stiff, mostly because I can make small adjustments instead of forcing myself to stay flat when flat is not comfortable. It also helps in those moments when you are sick or congested, because you can sleep with your head up without feeling like you are folded in half. I do want to be clear about who I think this is for. If you never sit in bed and you sleep fine on a basic flat frame, you probably do not need this. If you share a bed and you both have strong preferences about sleep position, you will want to think about how often you will actually adjust it, because movement affects the whole mattress. If you are someone who reads, watches shows, works on a laptop, or deals with back comfort issues, it makes more sense. And if you care about keeping storage under the bed, that compatibility is genuinely helpful in real homes where space matters. Overall, my impression is that it does the main job well. The head and foot adjustments are smooth. The positions are easy to use once you get used to the remote. The massage is a nice option when you want it. The snore reduction and zero gravity settings are not magic, but they are useful tools that I actually use. The main limitation I have noticed is that remote range issue, and I wish it was more consistent from farther away. Everything else has been pretty uneventful, which is honestly what I want from something I use every day. You can view detailed information about the Blissful Nights Z4 adjustable bed frame in the comments section. Thank you for watching.